Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report, where we bring you the latest and most exciting sports news every single day. If you're a Detroit Lions fan, or simply someone who thrives on the drama and unpredictability of the NFL Draft, buckle up, because we've got a story today that could completely reshape the narrative heading into this year's draft weekend. Let's not waste any time. The Detroit Lions have made a move, a big one. The front office, led by the ever-strategic Brad Holmes, has officially traded the 28th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Yes, you heard that right. The Lions are moving out of the first round and into something potentially much bigger. The team is sending pick number 28 to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for the 33rd overall pick, which sits right at the top of the second round, and what is believed to be the 104th overall pick, a fourth-round selection that quietly holds immense strategic value. Now, at first glance, this might seem like a minor shuffle. Just a five-spot slide back, right? But if you followed Brad Holmes over the past few seasons, you already know nothing he does is ever just about the surface. This trade is calculated. It's deliberate. And it might just be the first domino in a bigger master plan unfolding behind the scenes in Allen Park. So let's break this down. What does this move really mean for the Lions? To answer that, we need to zoom out and look at the full landscape. First of all, this deal didn't happen in a vacuum. It came in response to desperation. Desperation from a Cleveland Browns franchise that's staring down a quarterback crisis with no clear exit route. Deshaun Watson? Let's be honest, it's been a disaster. Between constant injuries, off-the-field controversies, and erratic play, the massive, fully guaranteed contract Cleveland gave him has become one of the most regrettable moves in recent NFL memory. And now, with serious concerns about Watson potentially missing the entire 2025 season, the Browns are scrambling. They've already tried the veteran stopgap route. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett. Decent options, sure, but not long-term answers. And that's where Jackson Dart comes in. The former Ole Miss quarterback, fresh off an All-SEC season where he led the conference in passing yards and efficiency, is suddenly one of the hottest names on draft boards across the league. Just a few months ago, most scouts had him pegged as a solid day 2 pick. Now, some believe he could sneak into the first round. And the Browns clearly didn't want to wait and risk missing their guy. That's where Detroit stepped in. The Lions saw the situation, read the desperation, and did what smart, confident front offices do. They turned that leverage into value. Because even though they're moving out of the first round, let's be clear, the Lions aren't giving up on impact. Not even close. In fact, some would argue this move gives them more control over how they shape the rest of their draft. The 33rd pick may not carry the prestige of a first-rounder, but functionally, it's just a few hours of sleep away from being a day 1 selection. The Lions will wake up on Friday morning knowing exactly who's still on the board, and they'll have the full night to evaluate their options, field calls, and possibly even trade again. That's a massive strategic advantage. Now let's talk about the 104th pick, because that might be the hidden gem in this entire trade. Heading into this draft, the Lions were without a 5th-round selection. That created a soft spot in their draft plan, one that Brad Holmes clearly wanted to patch. With the addition of pick 104, Detroit regains flexibility in the mid-rounds, where Holmes has absolutely thrived in past drafts. Think about it, this is the GM who found a Monterey St. Brown in the 4th round, who identified Malcolm Rodriguez as a 6th-round steal. Holmes lives in that sweet spot between rounds 3 and 5, and now he has another ticket to that lottery. So who might the Lions target at 33? The options are mouth-watering. There's a real chance one of the top defensive backs slips. Maybe it's Cooper DeJean. Maybe it's Kool-Aid McKinstry. Maybe a physical freak like a Jaron Cooper or a versatile front 7 piece like Bralen Trice is still sitting there. With so many quarterback-hungry teams reaching in round 1, the Lions are in a perfect position to scoop up a top 25 talent at 33. Or here's the twist, Holmes could trade down again. Don't be surprised if another QB-needy team wants to jump up on day 2, offering even more assets in return. Could this be the beginning of a masterclass in draft board manipulation? Some insiders believe that Brad Holmes is positioning himself to own day 2. Think about it, with picks 33, 61, and now 104 in hand, he could walk away with 3 players capable of starting as rookies. On a roster already stacked with talent and riding the momentum of a deep playoff run, that's the kind of boost that takes a team from very good to championship caliber. This move also signals something even deeper. Holmes and Dan Campbell believe in what they've built. If this were a rebuild year, you might expect a flashy first-round splash, a high-ceiling edge rusher, a headline-making wideout. But the Lions aren't in that mode anymore. This is a team drafting for polish, for fit, for depth. They don't need to swing big and hope. They're already playing with house money. And let's not forget the locker room dynamic. Trading out of the first round might send a message that this team doesn't need to rely on rookies to save them. That kind of stability is rare in the NFL, and it's a credit to what this front office and coaching staff have built over the last 3 years. But make no mistake, this draft still matters a lot. Because Detroit isn't just trying to compete. They're trying to win it all. So let me throw this to you now. What do you think about the Lions trading out of the first round? Was this the right move at the right time? Or did they miss a chance to grab a star at 28? Do you trust Brad Holmes to find value at 33 and beyond? But let's talk targets at 33. Word around the league is that Detroit's front office has been quietly doing extensive homework on players like Kamari Lassiter, the Georgia corner with elite instincts and scheme versatility, and Zach Frazier, a hyper-intelligent center out of West Virginia who could anchor the line for a decade. Neither player has the flashy name recognition of a top 10 pick, but both would fit seamlessly into the Lions' culture. Tough, dependable, and all about the grind. There's also a growing sense that Detroit could be positioning itself for a day 2 steal at wide receiver. With Josh Reynolds gone and questions around depth behind Monterey, the Lions might be eyeing someone like Ladd McConkey or Javon Baker, guys who can separate quickly, win routes underneath, and give Goff another reliable weapon. Don't be surprised if that 33rd pick is used to quietly retool the offense while everyone expects defense. And let's not forget the psychological impact of this move. Brad Holmes just told the locker room, "We're not reaching. We're not panicking. We're building this the right way." That message resonates, especially with a veteran roster hungry for postseason success. It shows confidence not only in the scouting department but in the players already on the field. For a franchise long defined by reactive decisions, this kind of composure is revolutionary. Because, personally, I think this is Holmes at his best. Calculated. Strategic. Unafraid to go against conventional thinking. He's not playing checkers, he's playing chess. And while other teams are making emotional decisions in the heat of draft night, the Lions are quietly building a roster that might just be the most complete in the NFC. I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Lions News Fan Report, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a beat. We've got more draft content, live reactions, and post-draft analysis coming your way. This is going to be a huge weekend for the Lions, and we're just getting started. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.